Hi, my name's Barry Foster and welcome back to episode number 14 of A-League to the UK. This is the Newcastle Jet Save with Football Manager 2021, and today we finally get to kick off season number 2 in the A-League with the Newcastle Jets, and we've got a home game against Wellington Phoenix, which won't be a pushover by any stretch of the imagination. Since our FFA Cup victory over Macarthur, we played two more friendlies, both against the Melbourne teams. We beat Melbourne City 4-0, and then Melbourne Victory, we beat them 2-0. So a fairly good finish to our pre-season round of matches. And as you can see, quite a few if we go all the way back to mid-July. But plenty of green dots there. So I think before we get to the game, let's just have a look at Club Vision again, because the board are expecting a mid-table finish. I think that's pretty reasonable, and I think we should attain that and probably do better. As you can see, the FFA Cup is not very important to them, which is a bit of a shame considering we won $50,000 for winning that competition. And so far, they're rather pleased with repairing the club's financial damage, which I guess we have, because we've got nearly $1 million in the bank. We still have a transfer budget of just under $119,000, and we're just under a wage budget by $875 a week. So the finances are not looking too bad at all. I think without further ado, let's get straight to this opening game against Wellington Phoenix. But before we do, probably one quick check. Let's look at the pre-season. So they're expecting Western Sydney Wanderers to be probably the winners of the Premier's Plate. That's the team that finishes top of the table, followed by Sydney FC, Perth Glory, Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. We're expected to come maybe around about 8th at 33-1. And I think it's interesting that Central Coast Mariners and tipped to become bottom at 2,000-1. I don't think I've ever seen odds that great, 2,000-1. I think that's a little bit mean on the Mariners somehow. I don't think they're that bad a side. But without further ado, let's go and play the Wellington Phoenix at the Hunter Stadium. Okay, a lineup for the opening game today is Woods in goal as normal, James, Clark, Donachie and Galloway across our back line, Wilson sitting behind Bremer and Sykes in midfield, Petratos out on the left, Miller on the right, and Sumau will lead our attacking line. And sitting on the bench we have Noah James, another under-23 player, because you've got to remember we need a minimum of 3 under-23 domestic players in the squad. Normally Nick Ansell, Jack Duncan would be sitting there, but today it's Noah James, Connor O'Toole, Jason Hoffman, Aspro Podomaitis, Kantarovsky, Melling and Valentino Yule. And unfortunately, because of international duties, we have Angus Thurgate and also a gun striker, the young fellow Stamatelopoulos. Both those players are away with the under-23s. Which is a bit of a blow, and they won't be back until something like the 20th of January, I think. Yes, the 20th of January 22, so that's probably a good 3 weeks down the track. We're going to be missing those two young players. So that's a wee bit of a blow, but anyway, we're going to have to play the games with the boys that we've got, and I think they're probably good enough to play well for the team. So let's submit these players for our very first match. Be interesting to see what Jerry Payton reckons we should say to the boys. Ufuk Talay, still manager of Wellington Phoenix. Once again, a fairly good-looking squad they have. And Jerry Payton reckons we're favourites for a reason. Go out there and make sure they're left in no doubt as to why. Well, okay. Okay, let's go with Jerry. Fingers crossed he can handle the tunnel interview as normal. So we'll get to the game straight away. Once again, bit of a sparse crowd here at the Hunter Stadium. Interesting formation by Phoenix, maybe 2 defensive midfielders. Maybe they're going for a draw away from home in the opening round. I think we'll get straight to the match. And it's Wellington Phoenix that gets us underway. And this is De Vere out to Payne. Devlin, a good young player for Wellington. So much for the opening highlight. Didn't last very long. But anyway, I'll be rather pleased if we get a win in this opening round, because I always dread having a really good pre-season. Then you go to your opening match and you lose, you get beaten, your team plays poorly. It's always a little bit annoying. Anyway, James with the throw, and he gives it to Brimmer, one of the new signings for the Newcastle Jets. And Galloway, ooh, I thought he might have hit the post, but maybe not. Marinovic, he got the ball safely. Anyway, this is Sykes, another new signing. A little bit of a glitch. And Petratos, well, he's gone straight through and he's made it 1-0. And we're only in the 10th minute of the game. It's rather interesting that the Jets are playing in an all-white strip today, because that is not their home strip. I'm not aware of them coming up with a new home strip. But anyway, Petratos got through, beat his man and beat the keeper with a very, very good finish. So a very good start for the Jets, but plenty of football left. And don't write off Wellington Phoenix just yet. As you can see, they've got the majority of the possession so far. And they've got some very, very good players in their team. But anyway, another throw-in. James to Petratos, and he cuts it back for Brimmer. And he crosses it to an unmarked Miller. Well, that's pretty slack marking and all too easy. Way too easy. And so the Jets, with barely 15 minutes on the clock, are 2-0 up. And I don't think this is the start that Wellington Phoenix were dreaming of. Interesting cross here by Brimmer. I don't know what you call that, but he seemed to cross it with his right leg behind his left. I might be wrong. My eyes can be a little bit dicky at times. But anyway, I'm not going to complain, because we're leading 2-0 and so far doing quite well. No one's letting the side down. But here's McGarry for the Knicks, but a rather poor throw. Now Sporanovic, De Vere. This is Bidstrup. Hamed, the Israeli player. Former international for Israel as well, so he's a dangerous player to have. That's Devlin riding that tackle. And he gives it to Bidstrup. Not a very good pass. And Sumau, our big forward, he's gone straight through. And that's a good save by Marinovic. So we'll get a corner. So Sumau's not the fastest forward going around. But he normally is quite deadly with his finish. Anyway, this is Sykes to Wilson. Now Donachie, Sykes and Miller. This is James, Wilson. Rather confident passing by Newcastle. This is Sumau, and he gets his shot in, but that's straight at the keeper. He'll gobble those up all day long. So we're fast approaching the half-hour mark. Wellington Phoenix yet to put a shot on goal, which is a little bit of a surprise. Anyway, Payne with a throw into Hamed, but this will be Wilson. No, he's been beaten. This is Devlin. Another very poor pass by Wellington. Now Sumau, he might be in here, but he's a bit slow. Well, he tries his shot. I think that was deflected, but the keeper, he saved it. It must have been some of the passing by Wellington's been pretty slack in this opening 45 minutes. They want to do something about that, or Newcastle will certainly punish them eventually. De Vere's on a yellow card. And we're fast approaching the half-time mark. And overall, the Newcastle boys are playing very, very well. No one's letting the side down at all. So maybe Jerry Payton, he had his team talk spot on before this match. which is always good when you accept the team talk from your assistant manager. But there we have it, 8-0 at half-time. You know, it's really been all Newcastle Jets, only 2 corners to 1. But seven shots on target out of 8, so that's pretty good shooting by the home side. And I think at this stage, I think we've just got to point the finger, be a little bit assertive. Until the boys were happy, keep it up. Fingers crossed that's the right half-time team talk. We'll certainly find out in the next 45 minutes. This is Galloway playing it to Brimmer. And he goes out wide on the right to Miller. That's a good tackle by McGarry. Miller's had a very good time at the Jets. He was a very, very good player for us last season. It looks as though he might have another good season ahead of him. This is Sykes giving it to, I think it was the Hoffman maybe? No, sorry, Galloway. I think it was Galloway at right back who made that pass. But the way the boys are playing, it's going to be difficult to work out who should get subbed in the second half. But Wellington have a corner. This is McGarry. He's gone near post. It's headed away by Clark. McGarry puts it in a second time, and that's just over the bar. Clark, of course, is a young loanee we've got on loan from Arsenal, and so far he looks as though he's going to be a very, very good centre-back for us this season. I was really quite rapt when we were able to sign him on loan for the entire season. But this is McGarry with, he seems to be everywhere, McGarry, with a throw to Piscopo. He's a dangerous player for Wellington. This is Bidstrup to Devlin. He'll probably go out to the right here, and he does. This is Cornick. Now, can he get a cross in? And he does, but it's back to Bidstrup. And this is Payne. Can he get a better cross in? And he's beaten his man easily. But that shot was poorly blocked. Maybe not poorly blocked, but it was a bit of a poor attempt at a cross or a pass. Anyway, fast approaching 60 minutes. Sykes getting a little bit tired in midfield, but I think we'll leave him on a little bit longer. Sykes with the header there. Now this is ball for Wellington Phoenix. He plays it through to Piscopo. That's a good ball. And he had a shot, hit the side netting. Maybe he should have tried to cut that back. But at least they had another shot. It's 8-2. So it's still Newcastle dominating that stat. But I think we'll just keep our eye on Sykes, but he's playing very well. Very well indeed. Maybe Hoffman might get a bit of a run shortly. We'll see. This is Kamau. This is Cornick now. Now Payne to Devlin, back to Cornick. I think Wellington better get a bit of a wriggle on if they want to really get back into this game. This is Bidstrup playing it out to Payne on the right. It's a good ball through to Kamau. He tried his shot, but he's offside, I think. Yeah, he's offside. Well, as I said, it's going to be a little bit difficult who should get subbed. Galloway a little bit down at right back, although he's picked up. Anyway, this is a throw now. Galloway for the Jets, and this is Miller. On to Sykes. Samau had his shot blocked, and this is Hamed for Wellington Phoenix. Haven't seen a great deal of him. Plays it back to McGarry. And I think we'll make one or two changes now. We'll just give, Sykes is starting to get quite exhausted out there. Okay, well, I think we might bring, Brimmer. We might switch Brimmer across to the advanced playmaker role, and I'll bring on Melling to be the ball-winning midfielder. And maybe one more substitution. I think I'll bring on Hoffman for Galloway. Hoffman can get a run at right back. Poor old Hoffman, very versatile player. He didn't get too many opportunities last season in the first team. Anyway, this is Payne for the next to Cornick, who plays it up to Kamau. Back to Payne. He can release Kamau down here. Does he have the speed to get past his man? Well, he crosses it. Bit of a backward cross to Bidstrup. This is Hamed. Back to Bidstrup. Out to McGarry. Can he get a cross in? And he passes it to Piscopo. Back to Hamed. Well, that's a bit of a poor effort in the end. That was high and wide. A few little glitches here on the old match engine. A few more than normal. But anyway, maybe about 10 minutes to go in the game, and I think we've really got this wrapped up. I can't see the Jets coming back and scoring 2 or 3 goals to upset the day. But I think we'll make one more change. We've got Miller, who's pretty tired, along with Brimmer. I'd like to bring on Aspro Potomitis, give him a bit of a run at centre back. Because in pre-season, before he got injured, he was looking as though he was going to be a very, very good player for us in central defence. Probably not a first team player, but certainly an excellent backup. 3 minutes of added time, and I think this is going to be just about it. 2-0 to the Jets. Maybe one last piece of action. Old with a corner for Wellington Phoenix. And that's Aspro Potomitis with the header. Devlin will get to it first. But I think the referee's going to... There it is. Opening round 1 victory, 2-0 to the Newcastle Jets over the Wellington Phoenix. And Wellington did have a better second 45, but 9 shots to 5. They had 63% possession to our 37. Well, they must have wasted possession, that's for sure. And they had 5 corners to 2. And they had 4 shots off target out of only 5 shots all match. But anyway, we'll certainly take the opening win at 2-0 and got to be happy with that. Tell the boys it was a good win. Waiting the media reaction. I think we'll send the assistant to that. And here we have it. Melbourne victory 0, Western United 2. And Sydney FC 4, thumping Adelaide United 0. And of course, Newcastle Jets winning their match 2-0. So on goal difference, it is Sydney FC topping the table. But Brisbane Roar, Central Coast, Macarthur, Melbourne City, Perth Glory and Western Sydney, along with Melbourne Victory yet to... not Melbourne Victory, but those other teams yet to actually play a game. So that table could quite easily change. So quality finishing the difference at Hunter Stadium. That's pretty well true. Ufik Talay, bit of a cagey press conference from him. I guess he wouldn't have been too happy. And of course Clark made his Newcastle United Jets FC debut. And as I said, he's the young boy from Arsenal on loan for the entire season. So I think he's going to be really, really good. I think we'll do the press conference offline. They're not all that exciting, really. So let's look at our schedule. Last season we were playing 4 games offline. If we do that, we're going to be playing Melbourne Victory, Wellington Phoenix again. That's a funny sort of a draw once again. Macarthur FC and the Central Coast Mariners. Well, I think what I'll do, we'll play 3 offline. Let's come back for the derby game against Central Coast Mariners. There are fierce rivals, and that's a home game for the Newcastle Jets at the Hunter Stadium on the 11th of January. So that's what we'll do. Melbourne Victory, another Phoenix match, and the Macarthur fixture will play offline, and we'll come back for the derby game, the F3 derby between Newcastle Jets and the Central Coast Mariners. So that's episode number 14 for today. I'm Barry Foster. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.